Welcome to Scrunchy Time. I'm Nicole Hegstead, your fertility advocate. After 6 years of infertility and 3 miscarriages, I decided that I needed to become the advocate for my own body. If you're exhausted from struggling to get pregnant and want to know more about how I can help, check out my website at www.nicolehegstead.com.
And I'm Bridget May, your children's health expert. My son was born with a heart condition that led to 3 open heart surgeries, cath labs, a tracheostomy, and a ventilator. After being fed up with mixed opinions, I became my children's own advocate. If your child's health is lacking, then check out my website at www.bridgetmay.com to find out more how I can help. Put your hair up and pay attention while we discuss today's hottest topics concerning female hormones and healthy kiddos.
We aren't silky.
We aren't crunchy. We're scrunchy.
Welcome back to Scrunchy Time. So this is our first episode after our intro, and we're going to be talking about earthing today.
Yeah. So I'm really excited to talk about this. This is something that I didn't understand in the beginning, and then Nicole explained it to me much better. So I'm going to have her explain what exactly we mean by earthing.
Yeah. So earthing basically means sitting or standing or walking on the earth, on the ground, without any barrier between us and the earth. So like shoeless, we take our shoes off, or you can sit, or you can lay. It's kind of like the concept of laying on the ground and watching the clouds roll by, or just watching the wind rustle through the trees. And the reason that you do this is the ground emits a negative electronic charge from, we don't know where, actually. Nobody knows where it comes from, but it does, and it's amazing. And our bodies have an electrical current in them that is supposed to be a negative charge. But because we are surrounded by laptops, phones, computers, all these electronic devices that are positively charged, it will alter the current in our bodies, and that actually is what causes a lot of breakdown in our body's healing processes and things like that. You hear about cows that graze under the big windmills in the Midwest, or big transmitters. A lot of people will end up with cancer. The cows end up with cancer, things like that. It's because it's literally changing the electronic current in their body to be that positive charge, and so their bodies can't heal themselves naturally. And so basically the concept of earthing is to get away from the electronics, get outdoors, go shoeless in the outdoors, or lay on your back, sit on the ground, and absorb that electrical current so that it rights what's wrong in our bodies and gets it back into that negative charge. And a lot of people that do it, they did a huge study on it, and 75% of people noticed that their chronic pain went away, and 100% of people, everyone in the study, noticed a benefit in their sleep, whether it was they fell asleep faster, they slept harder, they weren't groggy the next morning, they didn't wake up in the middle of the night. They all had mixed there, but they all saw an improvement in their sleep across the board after 2 weeks of 30 minutes a day just sitting on the ground. So pretty impressive stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome. Actually, while you were talking about that, I was actually thinking about, you mentioned like being around power lines and stuff like that. I've walked around like larger power lines and stuff, and you can feel your heart racing faster. And our heart beats because of some electrical current. We don't know where it comes from. And so that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
That's just really cool. So
yeah.
I just got,
yeah,
just now thought about that.
Yeah.
Always picking up new things.
So we always laugh because the first time that I shared that with Bridget, she was like, "What are you talking about?" So what has
I was literally like, okay, we've crossed a new line here.
Scrunchy going on.
We need to have some more research on this.
And then actually, like, I had heard of it, but that actually drove me into looking up the research and then sharing it with Bridget and everything. And so I just love watching Bridget and her kids, because you guys have really been able to implement this into your life, like way more than I even have. It's like a goal of mine still. And she's like, all right, I'll outside. So share with everybody how you have made that work in your daily life.
Yeah, we really have. Like, it's been, especially like we're going into winter now here in the Midwest. So it's kind of been a little bit harder, just with weather changing and stuff, which I want to talk about that too, because it's kind of cool. I came up with a solution for that a little bit too. But yeah, this summer I made sure to, like, we get up, do our morning routine, and then we go outside, like just get outside. And I'm learning to be very free with my children and just let them do whatever they want when they're outside. So they have it. Fritz is 3, he's a boy, full on, so he just goes out and plays in the dirt, and we always go outside barefoot, no questions asked. Like, we never put shoes on if we're going just outside in the backyard. And even then at the park, I've always been the first thing that comes off are my flip-flops. I wear flip-flops everywhere, and they get kicked off everywhere. I'm like one of the people who's sitting in the restaurant kicking off their shoes. I'm sorry, but I am. Like, I just hate wearing shoes. So it comes pretty natural for us a little bit too that way. But I just really made sure to make a point of, like, get out there and do that. So I don't know if we always hit 30 minutes, and definitely not daily always, but it helps. And the big changes that I've seen help too are in the kids' attitudes. Obviously, we all know that we need to be getting outside more because of, like you said, the electronics, everything, the lighting, all of it, but to get away from all that. But just in their attitudes, they're so much more happier. And it's so easy. I would even say sometimes 20 minutes, 15 minutes is just unplugging for them. That calmness, all of it just helps a ton, like, especially in a 3-year-old. I know, like, if you have a toddler, it's not the terrible twos. And so anything helps. So, but yeah, those are some changes we've seen. So, and then with that, like, so you can go, when you go outside, the electrical current can get blocked by certain things. So the things that will block it, the barriers that will block it, are the asphalt. Wood will block it when it's like in deck form, not like a tree. So dead wood will block it. Non-living wood will block it. Rubber will block it. Plastic will block it. And if you have sealed concrete, will block it. So you can, like, if you lay a blanket down, you wear socks, you're totally fine, so so anyway, with that being said, it's getting colder outside, and obviously our shoes are all plastic, rubber, and whatever. And I'm like, we've been going outside, but it's cold. And Fritz, with all of his health concerns and issues and everything, he just gets cold so fast, like so fast. And I'm like, well, we can't go outside barefoot, even for a little bit. He's just like a purple icicle, he's just like, he gets so blue, and like around his lips and where his scar is, and it's bad. It looks bad. Like, and he's like, no, Mom, we're outside. We're not coming in. But I'm like, you're freezing. So I've like been trying to rack my brain, like, oh my gosh, what can we do to go outside and still make this happen? So I'm like, lots of socks. Lots of socks is the answer. Well, so that leads me down this road, and I'm like, wait, okay, so we didn't always wear shoes, and so moccasins, like, it just hit me one day. So I get on all my mom groups on Facebook, and I'm like, moccasins. And yeah, so you can totally wear moccasins outside. And if you pair that with wool socks and some really good brands of moccasins that they make, you can wear them in the snow, you can wear them in the rain, you can wear them everywhere. Your kids' feet are completely dry. Like, so impressive. Like, I am so impressive. So this was just last week I discovered this. So our moccasins are in the mail. Our wool socks are in the mail, and I'm excited to try that. But now I just need to find a good adult brand. But like, it makes so much sense. Like, I just, once again, always in awe of how modern we are and efficient we are, and it's not the answer. Like, we've been doing what we've been doing for thousands of years, and it's been working just fine. Mm-hmm. So anyway, but yeah, so that's something I'm really excited about with the kids, is to not break that barrier even all winter long. And we can still go outside and play and stay warm and dry and all of that. So
yeah. That is amazing.
But yeah, so cool. The alternative is very, Nicole can tell you about the alternative. This is what I thought of when she first told me. I'm like going, Yeah, okay.
So the alternative to moccasins during the winter, if you want to, like, if you're really into earthing and you've found that it's just this amazing thing, like we have, and you want to keep those good vibes going all winter long, is tree hugging. And the reason why is because the ground is wet and cold and icy, and if you live in Minnesota like I do, it's sometimes full of snow, and so you can't get through to the earth's crust. But we have these amazing poles that are sticking up out of the ground, emitting the same electrical current. And so the way that you can get that is by tree hugging. um, and I'm from Oregon, so it's really like, I actually am like, I feel like I'm going back to my roots by doing this summer, this winter. So I'm actually kind of looking forward to it. I have yet to do it, even though you could do it in the summer too. But like, I'm really hoping that this winter I'm going to get out there and hug a tree, and my husband's going to be like, my wife is so insane. Um,
He already thinks you're insane though. Didn't you do some earthing in the rain?
yes,
And
I
he's
did.
just like,
Yeah, he was just like, you're nuts. And see, again, I'm from Oregon, and earthing in the rain is amazing. If you think earthing is good, earth in the rain. And I mean, lay down, close your eyes, and just let it beat you. And it just is amazing. It's really awesome. The other reason is, and this is kind of a tidbit I'm going to throw in there, when water falls through the air, it spins the oxygen molecules, and it generates them into a positive electrical charge as well. And so when you breathe oxygen in the rain or a thunderstorm, it's actually the healthiest oxygen that you can be breathing. There's actually unhealthy oxygen, and it's the negatively charged oxygen right before a thunderstorm. You know, if you feel that pressure right before a thunderstorm starts, that's all negatively charged, and it's actually really hard for your body to process that. And so I always stay indoors when that's coming, but then when the thunderstorm actually breaks out, I go outside and earth in the thunderstorm and breathe in all the good oxygen, and you just feel amazing. It is truly an amazing feeling. So yeah,
awesome.
it's super cool. Something else that I love too about earthing is if I sit on the floor cross-legged in the house and watch TV, after 30 minutes, if I go to stand up, I feel stiff, my legs hurt. It's like, oh, I'm getting old. Like all the stuff that people tell you about when you hit 30, you know, I'm not there yet, but it's like, yeah, this hurts. But when I earth and then I go to stand up, that isn't there. My circulation is better, my muscles feel good. I don't feel like, oh, I don't feel like I'm creaking as I get up. I feel like, oh, I'm gonna get up and go in the house. And I just stand up, and it's just like, ow. And that, I think, has been the biggest thing to me, is to notice I'm not in pain when I go to stand up like I normally would be sitting on a hardwood floor, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, hasn't it helped a little bit like with your feet and stuff too? You've seen an improvement going more barefoot?
Yeah, yeah. So normally I have to wear orthotics because I have super high arches, and if I go barefoot outside, I can go longer inside without wearing my orthotics in my shoes. So that's been really awesome too. So
yeah, that's awesome.
yeah.
Coming from somebody who goes barefoot all
Yeah, yeah,
the time.
yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, earthing is amazing. Like, definitely do it. Like, and I know there's some things out there we because we got on this topic, there's some, like, just be smart about doing it. Obviously, we're not telling you go earth on the beach where there's glass bottles everywhere. Like, obviously take your shoes off in a safe zone and place. And like I said, we do it at the park. Granted, yeah, there could be a glass bottle laying around, but it's awesome. Just do it. Like, just go to the park, walk around in the grass, walk around in the gravel. Like I said, it doesn't work on decks, but
the other thing too is you don't have to so I do a lot of my earthing sitting down. Obviously you're a little different because you got 3 little kids, and they're not going to sit with you patiently and just be like, oh, but like I don't need to walk around, so I usually just sit. So if you don't have kids, you can sit and read a book. You can read your Bible, you can pray, you can meditate, you can don't take your phone with you because that obviously counteracts everything you're doing. So don't sit on your phone and play a game. You can watch the clouds roll by. You can, I mean, there's so much you can do while you're doing it. It doesn't just involve, okay, now I'm just sitting here waiting for the electrical vibes to get soaked up, you know.
People watch at the park.
Yeah, exactly. People watch. So it's one of those things where you can do a whole bunch of stuff while you're doing it. Yeah. So there's no reason to just go sit and be bored. Like, you can totally do stuff too. So
Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
yeah.
Cool.
And there's definitely a stereotype about it, you know, like, definitely, as we have expressed, like, you know,
When you first
really?
hear it, you're like, yeah.
But there's definitely a disconnect from us and the earth. And this is kind of a way to get that connected again. Something else that I've been considering lately too, and I don't think I've even shared this with you, Bridget, but our feet are meant to absorb things. Like, you'll find in a lot of home remedies, people put like poultices on the feet, you know, to suck stuff out or put stuff in and stuff like that. And it makes me wonder if the amount of tennis shoes that we wear and the amount of plastic that are in our shoes, if we're not absorbing more BPAs through our feet because of the shoes that we're wearing, you know, where it's obviously in our clothes and in our chairs and in everything around us.
We're not even being able to let that out. You know, our skin detoxes just as much. And, you know, people have sweaty feet. Like, clearly our feet detox.
Right.
You know, so even being able to let that out instead of we just constantly stick our foot back in that smelly shoe.
Right.
You know?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So definitely a cause for concern.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's definitely like, I mean, I find it hard sometimes too, when you get out there, you get bored, you know, because we're so used to being entertained.
Yes.
But, you know, it's so, besides like all the earthing and everything, like, we all know we need to unplug. Like, even, you know, once you sit there for a while, like I said, your brain will find ways to wander. That's actually when we get our brightest ideas. Like, creativity for children is at its max, is when they're just left to be bored. And so, you know, even if you are bored, it's okay.
Absolutely. So true. So true.
Let them be bored and they'll figure it out.
Yeah. Let them play with rocks and sticks and mud puddles, you know, like, they don't need to be with the noisy toys all the time.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. How many toys are electronical?
Yeah, that too. So we're starting them off at a very young age. And that doesn't even talk about the amount of kids that are being handed cell phones at 1 year old and, you know, just throwing all that off. Yeah,
like when I was writing my poop book and trying to find a cover for a child on a toilet, and all of them had iPads.
Yeah.
It's like, this is not how we potty train. Back to listening to our body. Yeah. It's not good. Yep. Definitely need to unplug some more. So.
Awesome. Well, I think that's everything I had to say, unless you have.
Yeah, me too. No, I think that's good. It's super simple. Just get outside, take your shoes off. Not on any of the barriers, but, you know. Yep. And if you have any other ideas on how to do it, or, you know, have pictures of you doing it. I love, like, you know, if you're got by a stream, I love beautiful pictures outside.
Yes, absolutely.
Woodsy kind of girl. So yeah, share them with us on our pages and email and all that good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool.
So yeah, I think that's everything. Thanks for joining us on today's podcast.
If you'd like to know more about our programs or watch the podcast in video form, you can visit our websites,
where we also share links and resources concerning the different topics that we have discussed.
Check me out at www.nicolehegstead.com.
And check me out at www.bridgetmay.com. See you next time.